I'm not gonna sit here and say Book of Boba Fett is a bad show, but it isn't great either. It definitely could have been better. But look, it's not bad. I've seen bad movies, trust me.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Ah, put your back down, you're so heavy. Ah, blood.
I'm also not gonna sit here and pretend like I could do a better job, but as a writer, I thought it'd be fun and interesting to redo the Fett show in a more coherent, tighter script, while still keeping the same major plot points. My biggest thing with the Fett show is it shouldn't be a show. If this had come out after Worth by Night, we could see it being more of an hour, hour and a half, maybe even a 2 hour special on Disney Plus. I think to do it right, it has to be like 2 hours, but still, I don't think it should be a 7 episode show. I would have dropped this as a theatrical film. I'm fine with Star Wars taking a break from the theaters, but this did not need a show. Not a 7 episode show, at least. First thing I'd cut is the Din Djarin stuff. Was it awesome? Yes. The scene where he's killing Professor Pig looking dudes with the saber was a highlight of the show. But it overshadows Fett in his own series, and it doesn't really serve the core plot. I would not make this Mando chapter 17 to 23 the same way the Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi aren't like the Clone Wars. Although I did see on Disney Plus the number has changed back to 1 to 7, but all the Mando stuff has to go. And that means Luke and Ahsoka too. It's all entertaining stuff, but it's not right for this project. You can take the major part of the first 2 episodes where he rockets out of the Sarlacc pit and joins forces with the Tusken Raiders down to like 15 minutes. He rockets out, joins forces with them, and becomes one of them. You can keep the Ray Harryhausen monster in there so he can gain rank, take out the whole Swoop Bike gang to Hat in a Hat. It can just be the Pikes who come and kill the Tuskens, and then they leave Boba alive. No train robbery needed, the Pikes just unprovokingly kill the Tuskens to ensure a safe trade route. Although the thing where he kills the Swoop Bike gang with the Slave One and blows up the Sarlacc pit is fun and all, that all gets cut for time. You get the worm thing up his nose and he trips out, he helps the Tuskens hunt or whatever, bonds with the group, and it's obviously spent some time there, before they all die out. It sounds like I'm dropping a lot here, but most of this is very unnecessary. Like going to the Tashi station. Was it cool? Yeah, but for time's sake, and to make a leaner story, that's all gone. Once we get the epilogue out of the way, we pick up where Mando left off. My biggest challenge here is we need more than 2 Gamorrean guards in 8D8. The palace should be packed. It's obvious Bib Fortuna doesn't have the same pull that Jabba once did, but still has to have an empire. And when Fett takes over, you still need to have a sense of an empire he's taken on, not just starting from scratch. And again, not nearly as big as the Hutts once were, but still, he's taken over a sizable group. The bar where Jennifer Beals' character can literally be inside the palace, keeping the same energy. Hell, even the Max Rebo band can be playing just like old days.
Oh, man, we got a gig tonight. How much about to play some gig with a horn guy dead and a singer woman dead, man?
Fett and Fennec can do the same thing here where they kill Bib and take the throne. Most people kind of just roll with it because they know Fett and Bib had a loose rule over everyone. So you can kind of do stuff where it gains the respect, but it has to encompass fear. Jabba gained respect because he was a feared individual. Fett is a feared, well-known, hired killer. He's one of the most infamously dangerous men in the galaxy. He should rule with some fear. He never has to take his helmet off around anyone other than like Fennec or his most trusted royal guards. No parading around town with 3 dudes flanking him, with your helmet off, looking weak, and being able to get jumped. Like, no. He rules as an icon. The sanctions of Tatooine can bring him different offerings and recognize him as being the new daimyo. I mean, kind of like what they did before, but to a greater extent. He takes over the palace and all the people in it. Bounty hunters we've seen before, new faces alike. The Hutt twins still come to pay him a visit. Chrysanthemum's still in this, and we can move forward with that. And the twins just kind of warn him about what he's getting himself wrapped up in. The Pikes have gotten a grip on Tatooine because of how loose of a leader Bib Fortuna was, setting up our antagonists again. We can then have Cobb Vanth be the one guy in the area who doesn't pay Fett a visit, so Fett pays him a visit. The two can talk about who rules over the town, have a trade-off of words, no fight, and then Fett leaves. Cad Bane shows up, and we can kill off Cobb Vanth because he really doesn't add much to the story. And all that body mod stuff, I feel, should be held off until we get to other characters like Valance. We could get some good Cad Bane action here and jump right back to Boba Fett. The Power Rangers serve no purpose here now that the body mod stuff isn't in the story, and Fett has an army. A smaller army than the Pikes, but more people under his control than he does in the show. Before we get to the climax, we have things like the Rancors are gifted to them by the twins to show respect, where Black Satan joins the ranks. He can spy on Mos Espa or Mos Eisley, where expendable bounty hunters see the Pikes get a grip and report back that Cad Bane is here. Fett meets up with Machete and he learns more about his Rancor, and instead of the bar exploding in the show and the whole mayor thing, the Pikes just siege on the palace. We could blow up a big part of it like the bar, giving more stakes because the palace is a lot more important to the characters and the audience than some random bar is. And then the Pikes can just siege the palace. You can still get a climatic battle where Gamorrean guards, bounty hunters, scum, Bomar monks, whoever's in the palace at the time, just starts fighting a losing battle for the control of Tatooine. Cobb Vanth's hometown shows up to aid in the fight to avenge their idol, and Fett and Bane can have their western standoff in the palace, or in some walkway somewhere. The show could come to an end them barely winning the fight. Fett kills his adoptive father, closing the book for him, and the Pikes can pull off the regroup, and we can get a small scene where like a Pike general gets a call from what is hinted at Kira. Even though I'm not the biggest Kira fan, it makes no sense she was never referenced. And we can end off this special with Fett having won the battle, licking his wounds, with a larger war ahead of him, now for control of Tatooine. Of course, he rode the Rancor in battle before his standoff, and we can have an extra end credit scene where Cad Bane's life support kicks in and the rebreather comes back on. If you really want to get excited about it, you can do a mid-credit scene with, say Fett reaches out to Mando, but, that's a give or take. The core of the story is a lot leaner than 7 episodes, and even if we had to keep it in a series, something like 4 episodes serves the story a lot better than a bloated 7. That's not the only problem I have with the finished product. Having basically no empire Fett takes on, and the way he's presented makes him seem just so weak. The Mare stuff and Swoop Bike Gang is all to no end, and the Mando and Luke stuff kind of overshadows Fett brutally in his own show, to the point where it comes Mando Season 2.5. The Power Rangers weren't that bad, they just weren't enough to compare anywhere near to what Jabba had going for him. And honestly, it's nothing for Fett to build off of. The palace feels empty at all times, as if they can't afford to keep the heat on. All the Tusken stuff can go way down, although I did like what we got, and we really need to do a better job of making Fett feel powerful here. Keep that helmet on, don't spare lives. He doesn't need to roll with an iron fist the same way Jabba did, but he doesn't need to be played as a straight villain, but he needs to uphold the criminal empire. You need to be feared. You need to be pictured as an icon. Instead, Fett feels more like he's opened up the door for those Drake's that kind of guy memes. Overall, I kind of enjoyed the show, but it's still... I get lost, there's a lot of elements that I feel like really should be there they kind of left out. The main thing I'd keep from the original series is the holiday special references. But if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments. I might do more videos like this for other franchises or for Star Wars material that it didn't hit home for me, like Obi-Wan and Tales from the Jedi in the future. But if you're not already, follow me here on Facebook and Instagram for more daily content. Drop a like, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Don't worry. You'll be back.